Few paintings in history have captured the raw power of nature, human vulnerability, and divine intervention, quite like Rembrandt's Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee. Created in 1633, this is Rembrandt's only known seascape, and it's a masterpiece not only for its technical brilliance, but also for its emotional depth and storytelling. Let's dive into the stormy waters and explore every detail of this remarkable work. The painting depicts a scene from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, where Christ and his disciples are caught in a violent storm on the Sea of Galilee. At first glance, your eyes are drawn to the chaos of the boat, the towering waves, and the dark, brooding sky. But let's look closer. Each character in this painting tells a story of fear, faith, and human nature. There are 14 people in this scene, 13 disciples and Christ himself. Wait, aren't there supposed to be only 12 disciples? Well, we'll get to that intriguing detail in a moment. First, let's break down the composition. The boat is divided into 3 main clusters of figures. At the stern, or back of the boat, we see Christ, seated serenely amidst the chaos. He is calm, a beacon of peace, while the disciples around him are in various states of panic. Let's start with Christ. Rembrandt portrays Jesus with an ethereal calmness. His eyes are heavy-lidded, his face almost otherworldly. This stillness contrasts starkly with the surrounding storm and disciples. Christ's composure reminds us of his divine power and the eventual miracle he's about to perform, calming the storm. To Christ's right, a disciple grips the rudder, desperately trying to steer the ship. His face is tense, his body straining against the wind. This figure represents human effort, the struggle to maintain control in uncontrollable circumstances. Beside him, another disciple crouches, turning to Christ in a moment of raw pleading. You can almost hear him shouting, "Master, don't you care if we drown?" In the middle of the boat, chaos reigns. One disciple clings to a rope, his body tilted precariously as he fights against the storm. Another is bent over, either seasick or overwhelmed by fear. These figures highlight the physical and emotional toll of the storm. Now let's move to the left of the composition. This group of disciples is battling the elements directly. One man pulls at the sail with all his might, his face contorted with effort. Another, perched dangerously at the bow, is tying down a loose rope, risking his life in the process. The interplay of light and shadow on these figures amplifies their desperation. Now about that mysterious 14th figure. Scholars have debated its identity for centuries. The most credible theory is that this is indeed Rembrandt's self-portrait. The man in the blue cap's direct gaze and distinct clothing align with other self-representations by the artist. By placing himself on the boat, Rembrandt invites us to join the disciples, to feel the wind and waves, and to confront our own faith and fears. However, some art historians propose that this figure might not be Rembrandt at all, but rather an allegorical addition to represent the viewer or humanity struggling with faith and fear. These dual interpretations make this figure a powerful focal point in the narrative of the painting. The sea itself is a character in this painting. The waves are rendered with dramatic brushstrokes, their crests catching the light as they crash against the boat. The sky is ominous, with dark clouds swirling above, but notice the break in the clouds. This patch of light foreshadows the miracle to come, a subtle reminder of hope amidst the chaos. Rembrandt's Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee is not just a painting, it's an experience. It's a masterclass in storytelling, composition, and emotion. Every detail, from the expressions on the disciples' faces to the tumultuous waves, draws us deeper into the scene. It asks us to reflect, in the storms of our own lives, where do we place our faith? This painting has had its own share of storms. In 1990, it was tragically stolen from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston and remains missing to this day. Its absence is a reminder of how precious and irreplaceable art can be. If you ever encounter a masterpiece like this, take a moment to really look. You never know when it might vanish.